you. PGC does not, could not, would not exist if it were not for you. You have options to get your music, your tickets, your tea, and each and every day. From Joe, Claire, Sonny, and Guy, to me, to DJ Flex, to Tony Reds, to everybody that puts it in the weekends, you come to us. So can I give y'all a round of applause and tell you how dope you are? Coming up, I will be joined on stage. Any of y'all watch Real Housewives of Potomac? So I called up some of my sisters. I know we're here for the concert and the shopping and the fellowship, but I felt like sometimes we just need some girlfriend conversation, because when we share our stories, what happens? We change lives. So I have Gizelle Bryant's gonna join me, Ashley Darby's gonna join me, Lynn Richardson's gonna join me, and we are gonna have a real conversation in real time about A, are you really living your best life? The songs sound good, but are you really? Are you really in control of your mate and your money? See, that's what we about to talk about in a few minutes. My job is not right if I don't send you out this door better than you were when you came in. So again, thank y'all for supporting, 19 years of FSO, WPGC, in mere minutes. We about to sit and talk, if that is all right with you. It's Real Housewife of Potomac's own, Ashley Darby.
Good afternoon.
Yes. Our next panelist finds beauty in every hue. See what I did there? She's a philanthropist, activist, and proud mother of 3. And she is an AKA for all my AKAs in the building. Village. Please, come on, Gizelle Bryant.
Hi,
everybody. And our final guest joining us today is an author, a motivational speaker, a financial expert who brought us the wealth experience. Please give it up for the one and only Lynn Richardson. So as I told you earlier, Village, we often talk about living our best life, but nobody seems to know exactly how that's done. I still believe it's up to you, but that's my first question for my ladies on my panel. We often talk about living our best life. What does that mean to each of you? Ashley, I'll start with you and then we'll take it through to Lynn.
I have found that living my best life for me has meant being able to appreciate the person that I am. Because sometimes when I feel like I'm not being my true self, whether it be in the public eye or even to my friends and family, if I feel like I'm not being genuine, I'm not me, I'm not happy. So when I'm being authentic and true, as best I possibly can, that's me.
Okay, Gizelle.
Well, how y'all doing? What Sista's only doing today. For those of y'all that know me, I have 3 girls, and they kind of keep me balanced, and when they're happy, I know I'm living my best life. Because when they're not, it's a hot mess, okay? So if the kids are good, mommy's good, all is well.
Lynn?
Hey everybody, I think for me, living my best life, it begins and it ends with understanding that when you acknowledge God in all your ways, He will direct your path, baby. He will do it. I was born and raised in Chicago. My grandmother raised me in the projects. I went to college. I got a bunch of credit cards. My credit was jacked up. I started living in the real world. My money was funny. My change was strange. I was living check to Monday. Do y'all know what that is? Baby, check to check mean you get paid on Friday, but check to Monday is a whole nother game. You get paid on Friday, you kick it on the weekend, you pay on your pass-through bills, and by Monday you broke. And I was a financial expert, crazy as all get out. But it wasn't until I incorporated godly principles into everything, my finances, my money, my relationships, that I started to live my best life. So that's what it means to me.
So now that we know what it means to you now, I want y'all to get personal, because I need for them to know that they're not the only things that life is happening to. I want you to take me to a time when you weren't living your best life, and what steps did you take to get the hell up out of it? Especially you over there, credit card queen. Ma'am, I'm gonna start with you, Lynn, because you obviously you already dipped into that.
I kind of dipped into it already. Well, I have to tell the truth. You know, I shared that story because a lot of us grew up and we come from a history of not having. And when we get the opportunity to have, our culture tells us we have to get new clothes, jewelry, furniture, and so on and so forth. So I didn't know a lot about money. The only thing I knew about money was my grandmother would say, go in the room, look on the shelf, look in my purse inside the zipper wrapped up in a piece of paper towel, it's $20. So when I started making money, I started spending money. So I could make $20,000 a year, a month. I could make $20, $30, $50, $80,000 a month, and I would still be broke. And I was living that lifestyle. And people thought I had it together, but the truth is, I was living check to Monday as I shared. So what I realized is more money doesn't solve a money problem. If it did, millionaires wouldn't go bankrupt. If more money could solve a money problem, you'd never have a bankrupt millionaire or billionaire. So I started living by the principles I was teaching. The first 10%, and this is what I had to do, because I was broke as all get out. My paycheck stopped up here and my bills kept going all the way down here. So I started tithing. You understand? You see, I started tithing because I realized I was broke whether I tithed or not. It wasn't like if I kept the tithing money, I was straight. I was broke either way. So I started tithing so at least I could have God on my broke side when I prayed.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about.
The next 10% you save. The next 30% is cash in your pocket so you don't overspend. You have a spending addiction. That's what you have when you go to Walmart for toothpaste and walk out with $179.47 worth of stuff you don't need.
Don't be talking my life.
On the road back rack. That wasn't on sale for you. That was not on sale for you. Right? And then the last 50% stays in your checking account for your bills. So for me, I was at rock bottom. I was living a lifestyle and it was a lie. And everybody who was around me when I had money, when I had nothing, that's when I knew who my friends were. So I just humbled myself, started living by true principles, and that's how God started to change my life.
Gizelle, I'll ask the same on you.
I can't follow that. I can't
You
talk after
can.
that. Good God. I always say that when you're going through, you feel like you're not living your best life. But God is just taking you through so you can get there. So there's so many things that I've been through. Everybody knows I've been through a divorce. I've been through all kinds of things. And at that time, I felt like I wasn't living my best life. But God was just setting me up. He was just setting me up to get me where He needed me to be. When I first started Every Hue Beauty, it was a struggle. Every day I felt like nobody cared, nobody was going to be interested. So many manufacturers and distributors didn't want to work with women. They surely didn't want to work with a black woman. And that for me was just so hurtful. And I just felt like, what's the point in starting a business and jumping out there and trying to make it when everybody's telling me no? But you just got to keep going so that you can get to the other side and sit up here on stage and talk to Poet.
Well, thank you. Ashley, I definitely wanted to ask you this question because we've seen you just go through something. I am a comment creeper. I would pray for you daily because I would read some of the comments and be like, good Lord. So how did you navigate, especially being in the public eye, something I often find that when it's bad, it's every headline. Once it's corrected, it's a byline 4 pages down.
No, it was crazy.
So how did you deal with that? And what advice could you give to those in the audience who could be facing something and just not sure what to do, who to turn to?
I will be completely transparent and say that that was one of the most difficult things I have ever experienced in my life, where people were saying that my husband was gay and that my husband had sexually assaulted somebody and he was going to jail. Those things, I have never been so low in my life because I was thinking like my whole life was about to crumble, not just before my eyes, but before millions of other people's eyes. So it was a very difficult time for my husband to die. If I had not discovered mindfulness and yoga and gotten in touch with who I am as a person, I don't know how I would have gotten through that episode. And the main thing that helped me was when there were the comments and when there was the chatter and when my friends were asking me questions, I had to remember that the person who I love is my husband. I almost had to block out every other voice, whether it was my mom, my friends, my publicist. I just had to block everybody else out and think about what did I want. And ultimately, I realized that I truly loved my husband. And so irrespective of what other people were saying I should do or telling me to do, when I sat down for myself and meditated for 30 minutes, and if you don't meditate, please, I know a lot of people say, I can't slow down, I can't silence my mind for 20 minutes. Just give it a chance, my loves. It will change your life, okay? Because you hear so much chatter. You read Instagram, you read Twitter, you read Facebook, but the reality is the biggest critic is right here in your mind. And so once you come to terms with that person and you figure out how to love that person, all that other stuff fades away. And so actually, I had positivity, and Gizelle thought I was crazy. She thought I was like going through a breakdown. You know how when people, like, they'll be on their deathbed and all of a sudden they get a burst of energy? She thought that I was literally, like, I was faking it. But in actuality, I felt like positivity was the only thing that was gonna get me through that situation. So I woke up every day with a positive affirmation, and I just told my husband how much I loved him.
I appreciate you being so transparent. You actually segued into my next question. I don't know if it's just me, but in my own mind, there is the poet that can do anything. Then it'd be this poet that'd be like, girl, don't put that on. Girl, don't go there. Girl, don't wobble in them heels. As women, who's ever experienced that? Where you know you can do it and you should be able to do it, and then when you're about to do it, then it's this other voice that be like, girl, beloved. And then I find that I didn't do it, then it'll be sitting on the side. I should have did it then. So how do you not get caught up in your own head? Lynn, I can start with you. Like, at this point in the game, I'm sure that y'all have had conversations and meetings. How do you not talk yourself out of walking in your purpose and really being your own blessing?
Well, you have to believe in yourself if nobody else will. I mean, I think a lot of people walk around with ideas in their head, and people tell you, you crazy, you can't do that, you can't do this. I started working for Russell Simmons because I left my job at Chase, got on a plane, saw a magazine ad with Russell Simmons, Jay-Z, Beyonce, and Susie Orman. And I have much respect for Susie Orman, but I said, she can't talk to my people about money like I can. I'm supposed to be on there. So I got home that night, I found the email, I found the phone number, it took me like 2 hours. I called, I gave them till like 12 o'clock the next day to call me back. This is Russell Simmons' office. He didn't know me, he didn't know anybody who knew me, and I started calling like a fool. Anyway, I got the meeting, and I didn't even get scared till I got there. I got on the 42nd floor, I was like, oh Jesus, what I'm gonna do? But when you get there, you can't turn back. And I left that office running a national program. So when I tell you, when she talks about not getting in your own way or not talking yourself out of it, let me tell you something. Haters are coming. If you doing something, you gonna have haters. If you don't have any haters, you ain't doing nothing yet. That's the truth. So if you have people telling you no, that means go. And that's what I would say.
Thank you.
I want to say I love me some haters. Woo! I love haters. Nicole, what's the question again? I'm sorry.
How do you not get in your own way, Gizelle?
Okay, yes. So I'm a little over 40. Okay, fine, I'm 47.
Yeah.
So anyway, when I turned 40, that was it. I felt like I was the cat's meow. I was the best thing walking. And at that moment, I don't know, something in my brain just clicked, and I said, you know what? I'm me. I love me. I look good when I look in the mirror. Whether I'm looking jacked up or not, I feel good, I smell good, I'ma think good. I'm not gonna be fearful of anything. And I haven't been. And I've decided that never, ever, 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 ever. I've been through too much, I'm doing too much. Never will I be scared or fearful, or will I allow that thing, you know, that thing that's in our head, that thing, that negative thing, never will I allow that to hold me back from anything that I ever want to do. Because every day, something's trying to get us. Every day, something's trying to stop us. And I just refuse to lose. We're not here to lose. God don't want that for me. God don't want that for you. And I'm not taking it on. So I, as a mom, have to show my kids, look at here, mommy's the baddest thing walking. Mommy is the baddest thing walking. So that they know that there's nothing that they need to be fearful of. And they're gonna be the baddest things walking too.
I want to add to that really quickly, because you just said something that was so key, and it's about the things that you tell yourself in your own head. I find that in order to get out of your own way, we got to stop praying for God to get rid of the enemy, and we got to start praying for God to get rid of the inner me. Because a lot of times we are our own worst enemy. And I will tell you, Russell Simmons, MC Light, Kelly Price, my team, they've been trying to get me to do public speaking and be on TV for years. But I was like, oh, I'm scared, I don't want to do it. I enjoy being behind the scenes. The truth is, I didn't have a good attitude. And I didn't know how to be nice to people. And if I was in public, I might not want to say hi today. I might not want to dress up. I might not want to put on no makeup. Then the people gonna be talking about you, then I got to talk about them. You know, that's just an attitude problem. So I had to tell God, okay, fix my attitude, fix my perspective. If I'm gonna actually be on this earth and give to people the way you have, then I've got to fix me. So I would say to get out of your own way, to add to that, yeah, the haters are out there, but make sure you're not hating on yourself.
And just for, I'm sorry, Ashley, and just for Ashley and I, when that little show called The Real Housewives of Potomac came back to DC and came knocking on our door, how many people told you, don't do it?
Don't do it.
How many people told me, don't do it? How many people said, y'all are only gonna have one season and y'all gonna be canceled? How many people said, it's gonna be stupid, nobody's gonna watch? I want y'all to know we premiered with the highest ratings ever.
Hey now.
And that's because of y'all.
That we did.
Thank you.
That we did.
And we on season 4. Thank you very much.
Coming too soon. I've learned that we are born with the notion that we can, and then as we grow and develop, people start making you feel like you're not deserving. Like you're not supposed to have. Like you're supposed to work so hard that you break your back. Like you're supposed to live to work. But in actuality, you work to live. Everyone in this room is already born being open and being deserving of goodness. And so as we get older, we get hardened and we start to forget that. But in actuality, once you do change your thought to realize that you are worthy and you deserve, everything in your whole life shifts. So when you start telling yourself, I can have, I will have, I do have, everything in your life starts to shift. It happened for me.
Thank you. Now, before we took the stage, I actually went out to the audience and asked people questions that they may have. One of the first ones that came up was, I am constantly told that I am being aggressive in meetings at my job when all I'm doing is asking the same questions that either my male or non-counterparts of color are asking. How do y'all deal with sometimes being the black woman in the room but not catching the title of being aggressive? Even I've gone through that. People will be like, oh, Poet, don't get upset. I'm not upset. I'm just trying to explain and ask questions. So as y'all have navigated this business that is extremely male dominated, how do you sidestep that?
Well, what I found is, well, first of all, I run everything for MC Light. I run all of Lil Mama's operations, for-profit and non-profit. I run a company for Russell Simmons. So I'm in the hip-hop industry. And in the hip-hop industry, where it's, you know, extensively male-dominated, when I have to deal with promoters, I have to deal with contracts, I have to negotiate, when there are two men talking to each other, they can get into it and then they settle it. But if I ask questions, if I demand, no, you're gonna pay my fee this way, no, you're gonna do this, they wanna call me and I'm just gonna say the word, they call me a bitch. Well, when you call me a bitch, I'm doing my job. That's how I look at it. So I'm not gonna cower down because of that. I'm not intending to hurt anyone, I'm not intending to harm anyone. But I found when I stand my ground, and I don't allow being called that word to deter me, because I've been called that word and now I consider it a compliment. Oh, that means I'm doing my job. Great, thank you. So I would just say stand your ground, be honest, deal with things truthfully and with love, and if people don't like your attitude when you're doing it, then that's their problem and not yours. Gizelle?
I was gonna say that, Poet, not only is that a woman thing, it's a black woman thing. So if you're dealing with men, if you're dealing with white men that are at your job with you, it's a challenge. It's a challenge because they're automatically feeling like whatever you say out of your mouth is aggressive. And why are you talking like that? And they, you know, you do have to realize that if you want to get ahead, sometimes you just have to, like, maybe not just be so aggressive. And change your tone a little bit. I don't mind about changing tone, but understand, my mama always taught me, you can say whatever you want. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. So if you want to get ahead, be clear. It's how you say it. And I decided that I'm gonna say what I need to say and say it how I'm supposed to say it in order to get ahead.
It's true. Because I started my restaurant when I was 27. So I was young, it was my first business. And what I would do is I would try to use humor to break the ice. So if it ever got tense in a situation, in a meeting, I would just crack a joke, and that would be my defense mechanism so that everybody would feel less threatened by me. But as Gizelle said too, as I started to realize that there was so much power in what I had to say, because when I felt like I needed to use humor, I was almost discounting my own thoughts and my own feelings. So I started thinking of ways to strategically say what I wanted to say and think about my audience, because that is important. Even speaking to you guys today, we have to be considerate of who you're speaking to. I was able to craft my messages for them to get across and stop trying to be the funny one, like, and then everyone started taking me seriously, you know?
I love it. They're telling us to wrap it up like Dave Chappelle, but this question I got to get out. How do I go about securing a good man or woman and the bag? And the other part of that question was, what do I do if I'm the breadwinner and Bay is not?
Okay, I'm gonna say it real quick. So,
look here.
So, a couple things. One, y'all know Candy Burrs? Candy Burrs, she done got the bag, she done secured the bag, she owned the bag. She got about 1,200 companies. So one day I was with her and she said to me, she said, look at here, Gizelle. You're doing great, you're successful, everything is fantastic. What's going on with your love life? And I was like, well, I don't know, I'm single right now, but you know, I'm out here dating, I'm being social. She was like, well, look, whenever you are in a relationship, don't let the excitement of being with that guy stop you from getting your bag. Because we have all, women, y'all know, y'all get all happy with the guy, and y'all all laid up. And in the morning, he get up and he go to his job. And what you doing? You still laid up, all happy. No. He get up and get the bag, you get up and get the bag. Okay, that's what we doing. That's our new mantra. That's number one. And number two, if your bae ain't making what you making, you need to get a new bag.
Lynn, I respect every one of my sisters in this room and on this panel, but on that, I have to disagree. I can make my own money, baby. And a financial plan is not a man. Now, this is my list. I need you to be God-fearing. I need you to be hardworking. I need you to be trustworthy. I need you to be respectful. I need you to love your mama, because if you don't love your mama, you can't love me. Now, if you do those things, I'll go out and make the 7 figures. I'll come home, I'll cook the bacon, baby. But I need you to love me, protect me, honor me, cherish me, take care of my kids, treat me like a queen, and maybe run one of the businesses that I set up. But you gotta work hard, but you don't have to make as much money as I do. That's just my opinion. And I've been happily married to a man who I love for 23 years.
Now y'all see why we had the sister sit down. We need these kind of conversations. Come on, Ashley. You own these restaurants and everything.
I know. And you know, my husband is double my age. So I'm 30, my husband's about to be 60. So I get called everything, y'all. I get called gold digger. I mean, all those things, but I am rubber and it's all glue. Okay? So I found that in my relationship, it's been about balance. So my husband, while he's the breadwinner, I still contribute to my relationship in emotionality. So to me, if as long as one person is giving the emotion and the other person is giving the finances and both people feel represented, then there it is. Your gender does not dictate what role you play in your relationship, not by any means. And I agree with Gizelle. Okay, if you make more money than your bae, and it's not an agreed upon situation, because everyone knows my mom, I love her to death, but her boyfriend was not pulling his weight, and I told her for forever, you gotta let him go, because it wasn't an agreed upon decision. If you agree on it, and you decide to be in a mutual quid pro quo relationship, then by all means.
But you have to do what's best for you.
And the programs.
You have to do what's best for you.
Because I gotta say, I agree with you, Lynn, on this one. I can't because you could be a millionaire today, lose your stock, now you're broke, now what we doing? I am, however, here for somebody that wants to partner with me into this thing called life. And if you're willing to do that, definitely a relationship with God, I'm only eating bacon, so I don't know what else you're gonna do. But I definitely agree, and I think sometimes we miss out on blessings for that reason. I am a media personality, and the guy that I'm seeing is like a banker that has no interest in any of this. And I think I might have missed out on something good if I was waiting for somebody to match my fly, because we ain't on the same chapter in our journeys anyway. But I'm happy that he met me in the chapter that I'm in, and now we're gonna see what these chapters look like together. But for me.
Okay. Well, one of the books that MC Light and I wrote together is Your Man and Your Money, How to Give 'Em and How to Keep 'Em. And so we talk about it from all those different perspectives, but the truth is, you know, truth and love, I think, is what everybody is looking for. And then to your point, you got to make your decision from there. So I'll be signing copies of my book when we're done with this.
I was getting to that, girl. Jeez. This is my job. Before I let y'all go, love in the public eye. The reason I wanted to ask them that is because a lot of times I think people think, oh, I ain't Gizelle or Beyonce. Social media has put all of y'all in the public eye and has put your relationship in the public eye. How do you deal when I was just consoling a girlfriend, legit, who was mad at her boyfriend of 3 years? Girl, he was liking way too many pictures on IG for my liking. I was like, that's not even real life. So, okay, what advice would you give our village about loving and life in the public eye? You got the gold, I'll start with you, Ashley. You got the gold digger comments, but you stayed anyway.
Right. Well, first of all, liking on Instagram and all that social media stuff, that's cheating, okay?
Wait a minute, girl, you gonna make us extend our panel?
If you see that your man or woman is liking all of these photos on Instagram, commenting on these things, come on now, babe, that's a form of lusting.
Who agrees that if I like a comment on Instagram, a comment is cheating?
I'm saying excessively.
I think if your relationship can't handle somebody liking a comment, then that's you.
I'm not saying
when it's smoke, there's fire.
It's a lot.
No.
Yes.
It's a lot.
Because in my prime example, my friend likes you, he likes Beyonce, he done like more than enough pictures of my homegirl, Sunny. I am not concerned, A, because look at this, B, he's with me. Like, I've never ever thought, I've never put anything into that. You got eyes. I'm supposed to look and be attractive. And if you done posted it, I'ma like it. But that does not mean that I'm cheating on you. And I think if my boyfriend liking a picture makes me think that he's cheating on me, this is where mental wellness and self-love comes into play.
No, babe. Social media opens the door because now you can see thousands of people. It's like people now feel like they're at a buffet. Instead of just being able to enjoy the entree, now they act like they're at a buffet. That's what I don't like.
Let me just step in here on this a little bit, because I agree with everybody, but this is my perspective. Okay, so if you my man and there's another woman flirting with you that you know she's flirting with you, and now you liking her post, oh baby, you better sleep with one eye open. You and her too. You understand? Because I'm not dealing with that. And I've been in the public and I've been working with men predominantly for over 20 years. And I have never put myself in a compromised situation. Not once. If the videotape was played on my life and my husband had to see it, he will never see me accepting being flirted with. He will never see me in an uncompromised situation at a dinner. He will never see me in any of those situations. So, because I come to the table with that, this is kind of how I feel. I'm not crazy, but if I think you cheating, that means you are, because it's something about how you acting. It's not just liking on Instagram or social media. You're doing something else. So at the end of the day, it comes down to trust. And if you trust me, you're gonna respect me, and you're not gonna do anything publicly that would embarrass me, and I'm gonna treat you the same way.
It is a whole word and a half. I'm also add communicate with your partner. Like y'all talk about Jordans and we going to see whoever when they come to town. Talk about how I feel when you do X, Y, and Z. And you had them kind of conversations, won't even be an issue. We're gonna wrap up the Sista Sit Down. Ladies, if you could just again introduce yourselves, give your social. They all have booths today, so make sure you see the booths and sit down with them. So Lynn, I'll start with you so we can clear this thing.
I'm Lynn Richardson, I'm a celebrity financial expert on the Steve Harvey Show. I'm the president of Hip Hop Sisters Foundation. We just gave away our $1,000,000 at the Soul Train Music Awards. I'm also the president of Sunny Girl Entertainment, and my social media is all at Lynn Richardson, and on Facebook at Dr. Lynn Richardson.
I'm Gizelle Bryant. I am on The Real Housewives of Potomac. I have my booth every hue, a beauty brand that I started about 1.5 years ago, and it's now also in Target. And all of my social is Gizelle Bryant.
My name is Ashley Darby. I am also on The Real Housewives of Potomac. I also have a restaurant in Arlington called Oz. I have a fitness inspiration line called Zen Gym that is right next to every hue of my sister here. And I can be found at Ashley Darby on Instagram and Ashley Bolch Darby on Twitter.
And I, of course, am your girl, Poet Taylor, Midday Shenanigans on WPGC, proud advocate for foster care and just the village, period. You know where to find me, middays, and of course on Dish Nation on Fox 5. A round of applause for our panel and our sister sit down. Village, y'all think we need to do this like later on in December, maybe in January? We sit down again? All right, I'm gonna get with my boss on that. Thank y'all. Enjoy.